What's up, everyone? So today I want to make a video just to show people how simple it is to build your own arrows at home, because I think sometimes when you get into archery or like all the numbers of things and everything else, it could be overwhelming, especially when you're in a pro shop, maybe for the first time, or you're not really used to it. And stuff's getting rambled on out at you. It might be just a lot to take in the moment. So today I hope to show you how to do it right in the comfort of your house and just give you the confidence to do it, because it's a pretty simple process. So first things first, I'm going to hop behind this camera and just give you a rundown of what all I have here. So I have Easton 5.0 shafts. That's the kind of arrow I'm going to be building. I have an arrow spinner, an arrow saw to cut the arrow to size, my fletching jig, so that way I could put my vanes onto the shaft of the arrow. Vanes. The glue that I use, this is for the inserts, and this will be to adhere the fletching to the arrow. Then we also have arrow wraps, which we'll be putting on if you want to be fancy. And we also have a scale that'll weigh the arrow in grains when it's completed, just to see how much the arrow weighs overall and give you an idea how fast your arrow is going to be, if it's light or heavy. We also have Easton 50 grain hit inserts that are half outs. And we have an arrow squaring tool. So yeah, that has like a rigid pad on the bottom. Once you cut your arrow, you could square it with that. So that's what we're going to dive into. So don't really need too many things. Also paper towels and acetone to clean everything up, and Q-tips. But I don't think it's necessary to really go too crazy with cleaning the carbon dust. It's not that bad, honestly. So let's make a quick video, and hopefully this gives you an idea on how to make your own arrows and do it yourself right in your living room like I am. All right, so first we're going to start out, we have our shaft. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put that back onto the arrow spinner here. And what that allows us to do is we'll spin the arrow and we'll look down each side. When I spin my arrow, more of my wobble is actually coming from the side that needs to be cut. So that's good, because if it was coming from the knock end, I'd have to take this knock out and cut off of that, because you want to get rid of as much wobble as possible so your arrow stays true through flight. And then what we'll do is we'll determine which side needs to be cut off, and we'll go to the arrow saw. But then something to keep in mind before that, so I run a 29-inch arrow, but this half out that I have is going to add a ½ inch to my arrow. So what I'll have to do is I'll actually set my saw to 28.5 to take up for that ½ inch. So I already have this preset. I measured it. It's important that you measure this with a tape measure, even in your saw jig, because I found, as you can see here, there are numbers, but the scale on this is off. So always use a tape measure to measure something like that. So what we'll do now is take the knock, insert it into there, and then the arrow lays right on the blade. So I'll try and do this one-handed. Start this up, insert the knock, then spin the arrow and cut it. Alright. So now we have our arrow cut to size. Sorry here, this is like a little awkward to film yourself with something. Never did this before. So now our arrow is cut down to the length I need it. I'm going to take my squaring tool that I have here. I'm going to insert that into the arrow. And all you do is just give that a few turns back and forth. That's going to square that end off and clean it up nice and flat. So you can see it's nice and flat now. Now what you can do, what people do, what people don't. Some people clean all that carbon out of there. I actually like to have it in there. It's personal preference. So right now, what I will do is I will take my jig I'm gonna take that, I'll set that up here. Then I'm gonna put my arrow in here. Your nock's gonna rest into this, right like so. I'll take this just to show you for reference. It's knocked in. There is helical numbers here or degrees for your helical. I have mine set at 90. I'm gonna do a 4 fletch arrow. It's up to you how you wanna do that. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a 4 fletch at 90 degrees. That arrow is knocked in. So next, we will take our clamp we have here, and then we'll take one of our vanes. So you take your vane, you insert it into the clamp, and on this clamp, there's little notches, so you could determine how the height of where you want your fletching to sit. So I did one of these before. I go to the 3rd notch, and that's where I'm gonna want that. But you know what? I'm sort of rushing this. I'm getting ahead of myself. On this specific arrow, I am going to put an arrow wrap on it, so I'll do that before I actually put my vanes on. Now, I've referenced it, I watch videos. Some people use like a mouse pad. This table here is flat, and I've done one. I didn't have any issues with it, so I don't know that that's totally necessary for me to have. So all I'll do is I'll lay my wrap out, sticky side up, put that down here. If I can get it unstuck off my hand. All right, now that's down. And you're just gonna wanna start that and line that right up with your nock. So there we go. Go a little bit, and then just wrap a nice motion. All right, so now that's on there. Now with these specific arrow wraps, the instructions say to take it and wrap it back and forth in your hand to create heat and friction, and that'll help it adhere to the arrow. So that's what we're gonna do here. Oh God, this is so fun. My hands are burning off. Not really, but I don't know. I don't want to keep this video too boring. So now I'm gonna check it out. Looks good to me. That arrow's nice and wrapped. And now we will stick that into our jig. So we have our jig. We're gonna put our nock in here. Knock it up, baby. All right. Clamp. Like I said, mine's gonna go to the 3rd line. It's already set. Fletching glue. Take a bead of this and run it down your vane. Oh, I took the whole thing off by accident. Let's try that again. Take this top cap off, not the whole thing. And you're gonna run a bead of glue down your vane. So do that now. All right, I got a bead of glue there. Gonna come into the magnet, slide down, and then we're gonna press that onto the arrow. We'll let that sit so that that glue could adhere. As you can see, that's in there, it's touching. That's gonna glue that right onto there. So you wanna make sure of that. You wanna make sure that's touching good, or that's not gonna adhere properly. Now we could unclamp it and slide it off. And this is what we are left with now. We have a fletching on here. You can see there's a little bit of glue residue if you're crazy about that. Not hard to clean up. Just take yourself a Q-tip and rub it off. Pretty straightforward. But anyway, I'm gonna do a 4 fletch arrow, so I would have 4 vanes on it. I'm not gonna completely do that in the video because of time consumption, and I wanna keep this simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. So as you can see, I have a finished one here, and that's what your 4 fletch would look like when it's completed. So now that we're gonna skip putting all the fletching or the vanes on in the video, we're gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna show you how to put the insert into your arrow. So we have our insert, we'll take that, and we will take the glue for the insert. And the way I do it is I take that, and I just put a bead on like 3 parts of it. So take that, glue it once, twice, and then 3 times. Now we have all those adhesion points. Take the arrow. And then we'll insert that down into the arrow. As you can see, you're going to be stuck with a little bit of residue there. It's not a big deal. You just take your paper towel that we have here and just rotate that around. Clean that arrow up. So now we clean that up. With this specific adhesion, it says to let it sit. I believe it's from anywhere from 24 hours to 72 hours. So that could sit in there until it actually adheres properly. But yeah, your insert's now in. You get an idea on how to fletch. Like I said, this is a 4 fletch. So I would fletch that 4 separate times. And then when my arrow is all said and done, that's what it would come out looking like. You have your insert. Then you have your 4 fletchings, your arrows cut to size. And then what you could do when you're all said and done, if you want to know the weight of your arrow for tuning and speed and all those purposes, you could do that. You could buy yourself a little arrow scale with this little accessory here. Just set an arrow in. And then all you do is just lay that flat and get that to sit right. And then for this specific arrow that I'm shooting, it's gonna come out to, let's see here, I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's only 19.68 grains. So that's actually super light. That's gonna be the fastest arrow I've ever shot, so for myself. So that's gonna have a lot of speed behind it. And even with these shafts, the Easton 5.0, I feel like, I mean, me personally, I love Easton arrows. That's what I've always ran. And this is only 7.5 grains per inch. This is the 340 spine. Just a super fast, durable arrow. So anyway, yeah, you don't need that much stuff. It's a pretty simple process. So if you're feeling intimidated or it's complicated to build these on your own, it's not. I would say up front, the cost to buy the tools you need is going to be a little expensive. But then as time goes on, if you're someone like myself who likes shooting arrows, it's all worth it, because every year or however often you build arrows, all you're going to have to buy then is the shaft and the components, and then you have all your tools to properly put them together. So anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this was a good do-it-yourself video that gives anyone the courage to build their own arrows. And thank you for watching my video, and have a good day.